and I'm very proud to call him a very good friend as well. Would you please make welcome to Taiurungi o Te Wānanga o Aotearoa CEO, Mr. James, soon to be Dr. Jim Mather.
Ngā te awa te toki, te tangatangi te rā, te ruku te wai, te hei no reo. Ko pitua ki te maunga, ko tarawera te awa, ko te whāriki te toki o te kapatini mai. Ko ira moko te marae, ko te pai tata te wharakai, te whare tūpuna, ko ira moko te wharakai. Ko te ramapakura te tangata, ko te pau o te rangi tōna taiaha, ko te pare horo kāka tōna patu. Ko mātātua te waka, ko Ngāti Awa te iwi, ko te tāwere te aku, te hei Mauriora. E mihi ana ki te whenua, e tangi ana hoki ki te tangata, ngā tine mate, ngā tine aitua, e hinga mai rā, e hinga tunei. Ka utu mai, mō mai. Ko tēnei tātou te hungore e hui mai nei i tēnei rangi, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. He hona rei nunui māku ki te haramai ki konei i tēnei rangi, ki te haramai ki tēnei atamira, ki te kōrero ki a koutou katoa e pāna te hurahi hau mō te wānanga o Aotearoa. Nō reira, e rauranga tira mā, e kui mā, e koro mā, tēnā rā koutou katoa. Ko te mea nui māku i tēnei wā ki te mihi atu ki ngā kai whakahaere me ngā kai mahi o te wānanga o Aotearoa, mō rātou, mō o koutou mahi whakaharahara. I tēnei wā, kei te maumaharau, te whakatauki a hara taku tō, i te tō takitahi, e ngai he tō taku tini. Ngā mihi ki ngā kaimahi me ngā kai whakahaere o te wānanga o Aotearoa. O tira, koutou katoa. Nō reira, tino haraku au ki te haramai, ki te kōrero, ki te whakuutu ki te kōrero o Julian, ai, kua tētahi tino hoa, o tērā tangata, hoi anō rā, ki te haraku hoki au ki te ia koe i tēnei rangi Julian. Nō reira, e rauranga tira mā, tēnā rā tātou katoa. It's a real honour for me to be here today and to talk about the future direction of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. I'd just like to say, as a passionate New South Wales Blues supporter to a passionate Hurricane supporter, karohai e hoa. We can share our period of commiseration after my presentation, but great to see the passion still resides within you, Julian, and look forward to your constant tweets next year in another unsuccessful campaign by the Hurricanes in 2016. Great to be here, everyone. I'm really privileged to be part of this thought leadership conference. I'd like to add that nobody's ever called me James Mather in my entire life, apart from my mother, just before she was going to discipline me. And I think that may have been my registration name for conferences. But I do recall at Māori Television, where I spent 9 years alongside the illustrious Mr. Wilcox, that I was called many names. But really not called Jim. I was usually quite privileged to get off that lightly. So here I am, Jim Mather, the humble Taiurungi CEO of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. And I do say that very sincerely because it has been such a huge honour for me to actually join that organisation. We've just celebrated our 30th anniversary last month, and that really does form the basis of the phrase, the mantra that we have at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, which is whakatupu, whakahāngai, whakaeke. Build, adapt and succeed. So when I arrived at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa in October 2013, I basically said that we were going to build on the 30-year history of the organisation. We were going to build on the great work that had been done prior to my arrival and the subsequent arrival of a new leadership team, both external appointments and many promoted from within the ranks as well. We're going to build upon the great work of the forebears of the organisation, but we're also going to be prepared to adapt and be ultimately successful as a result of that. So, what have we done in the intervening 18 months to 2 years since I've arrived and the new leadership team has been formed? I'm going to go through that very shortly in this presentation. Julian also mentioned in my introduction that I have this unfortunate disposition to recall military phrases. I had the privilege of actually serving for 6 years along so many great leaders in the New Zealand Army during the formative years of my life, when I was 18 through to 24. I've never actually recovered from that. I've had to learn to re-language my phraseology. I've had to learn to talk in a different way. Previously, we would talk about things such as the word no. In civilian life, it's let's consider that, and maybe have a one. I've had to get rid of the word execute and utilise the word implement. There's all these subtle things, but one thing that has actually remained constant is the word mission. And that's what I'm going to talk about today as well, because the mission of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa is whānau transformation through education. And what does it actually mean? How do we go about that? How do we measure our results? And I'm also very pleased to have the opportunity not just to talk about the mission of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, but just to talk about the organisation in general, because we don't actually sell our story very well, we don't tell our story very well, and there's probably many of you in the room that know very little about us. We are the second largest educational institution in Aotearoa. We're the largest Māori organisation in terms of employees, apart from possibly the New Zealand Defence Forces. We have 1,600 kaimahi that work for our organisation, that serve our organisation. We touch the lives of 32,000 students, tauira, each and every year. So we are an organisation that's got some significant influence in the direction not only of our people, but also of our country and obviously the tertiary sector. So I'm going to talk through those things as I go through this presentation. Our destination, whānau transformation through education. Really that is at the heart of each, in every kaimahi of our organisation, is what we're committed to. It's making sure that we do tangible, credible things that our tauira can actually take away from Te Wānanga o Aotearoa and make a significant difference to their lives, the lives of their whānau, plus also the communities that they operate in. We will be a leading world-class Indigenous organisation dedicated to the successful transformation of the lives of our tauira and their whānau. And because I've spent a number of years in the television media sector, I'm going to play a few videos very shortly and hopefully be in a better position to explain just what this actually means. However, we're going through a period of significant change at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, whereby we're focused on improving the educational excellence, i.e. the quality of our services, making sure that they're consistent, standardised, and you can go to any one site throughout the country, and we have 120 of them. It's another significant factor about our organisation is that we are a nationwide tertiary institution, and we're committed to taking education to our people and our communities. But a key priority for us has been focusing on educational excellence and also ensuring that we achieve that through greater innovation, investing in our people, technology, communication and our brand. I'm going to talk a bit more about each of those areas shortly. We're an organisation that's strongly underpinned by Māori values. We've got a strong kaupapa Māori emphasis in terms of our methodologies of teaching and delivery of our services. However, for us, we've got to be able to not only recognise these values, but demonstrate them, live them, and each and every one of our people has got to understand very clearly that we are an organisation committed to our values and ensuring that we measure our performance not only on financial metrics or educational performance indicators and so forth, but also on are we actually achieving our results within the values of our organisation. We have a very clear strategic plan. That's it there, a one-pager. I'm not going to go through all of the detail because I actually have a video which I'm going to run through. I am somewhat slightly apprehensive about showing you this video because It's a video primarily where I get the opportunity to talk to our people about the organisation, but I'm going to provide it because I think it's important that whenever you're leading an organisation, you've got to be able to clearly articulate what your organisation stands for, what it's trying to achieve, and the direction it's actually going in. And this video, I'd never be able to replicate what was said in it, so it's probably best that I just play the video. And at the end of it, it also talks about our restructuring of the organisations from 6 rohe down to 3 districts. We're going through massive change at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. And if you put that in the context that over the 30-year period, I'm the first CEO that's actually been appointed from outside the organisation. So it's fair to say that there was a very insular, introverted environment that actually existed through the organisation. And so what we're trying to do now is open up Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. And part of that is actually being at conferences such as this so that we can tell our story, engage better, and work out how we can better work alongside each and every one of you and your organisations to better improve the quality of our services to our people. So Ruben, if we can play the first video, please. Thank you.
The former CEO of Māori Television's first step was to gain a greater understanding of the organisation's strengths, weaknesses, threats, and identify opportunities to develop the wānanga even further.
It was important for me at the outset to talk to as many people as I could within the organisation, and obviously the senior leadership team at that time. And my questions were, what do we need to do better? How can we improve? And how can we make our organisation much more effective for our tauira and their whānau? So ultimately, we gathered as a senior leadership team, we talked through all the issues, and the result of that was Te Raumairanga, which required us to focus on improving the quality of our educational services, becoming a much more innovative organisation, focusing on technology, strengthening leadership, and making sure we communicate much better than we had at that time.
Jim's master plan for Te Wānanga o Aotearoa is to be the greatest Indigenous development organisation on the planet.
So it's my belief that we can actually go much further than simply delivery of tertiary educational services, but actually deliver those services in such a world-class manner that they have a tangible benefit for our people.
He says the success of the wānanga will not be achieved by the work of one, but the work of many.
The passion, the commitment and the drive that our people have to make us successful is what really sets us apart, what has made us a great organisation to this point in our history, and is what's going to carry us forward into the future.
As part of Te Raumairanga, 6 former rohe have been transformed into 3 takiwā. Tāmaki Makaurau and Te Tai Tokero have merged to form Te Ihu, or the prow of the waka. Tainui, Wairiki and Whirikoka have combined to form Te Wainga. Papaiuea and Te Taitonga form Te Kei, or the stern of the waka, as we steer a course towards our strategic destination of whānau transformation through education. Te Anganathan, Te Wānanga o Aotearoa.
And it's got an interest in making sure that we are successful and that we can better engage with each of your organisations to achieve our collective aims. So the previous speaker spoke about her hometown of Nuhaka. Our Tai Tuara Deputy CEO John Farn is from there as well, so I'm sure you'll be making those connections. But as you can see, an extensive new leadership team, 3 internal appointees, 6 from outside the organisation. I think that's reflective of the fact that we're prepared to make big, bold changes at our organisation to achieve those aims. So the third key priority for us, key strategic priority, has been our brand. Being able to tell our story better, being able to mobilise support, but also just being able to raise general awareness of what Te Wānanga o Aotearoa is, what we stand for, and how we can be part of this collective work that's being undertaken by many of you as leaders of Te Ao Mātauranga at this time. So our brand, we've just gone through a major review process which has involved over 2,000 people. We've had surveys, focus groups, and other means of gathering information about Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. We expect that before the end of the year we will be announcing potentially a new name for the organisation, but also a different brand positioning of where we're going into the future. It's clear that we need to adapt, we need to tell our story in a different way, we need to attract tauira to our organisation. We also need to be able to be clear about what it is that we can provide and those benefits, not only to our students, of course, but also other stakeholders that support our organisation. So there's an extensive brand review that is underway. I notice some of the marketing team are here at this time, so you'll be probably more across where we are with that than I am. But fair to say that we're more heavily going to be promoting exactly who we are, our size and scale, and the ability we have to touch the lives of over 32,000 tauira and their whānau each and every year. Our fourth strategic priority is really about innovation, and that's something that the Wānanga has been renowned for in the past. In 2005 there was a Crown intervention in the organisation, and as a result much of the innovative thinking was suppressed or basically set to one side. So I see some of my colleagues nodding in unison about that. And one of the messages that I had for our people was that we need to bring innovation back to Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. We need to be able to develop different types of delivery programs and different ways of teaching. We need to be ensuring that at all times we remain an innovative organisation that's prepared to make very bold decisions about doing things differently. And I've mentioned communication previously. We are an organisation that typically has not communicated very well. We've been, as I mentioned before, in the past, often akin to being an introverted organisation that's been reluctant to actually communicate not only externally but internally. I recall arriving at the organisation, bearing in mind this is an institution that has 1,600 people, and finding out that our only primary form of communication was almost a Times New Roman typeface .12 newsletter that got sent out once every 2 weeks that just was all text. Now we've changed that. We've got a strong emphasis on something called Wānanga TV on YouTube. We have a lot of links embedded in our newsletters that we that we do send out to our people, but we're also making sure that communication is just more rapid, more constant, more frequent, and actually more relevant to our people than it's been in the past. You can never communicate enough about where your organisation is at, what it's doing, and the direction that it's heading in. These are just some of the statistics associated with Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. Number of tauira, our number of students last year was 32,235, 20,701 Fs, and as I said, that makes us, in terms of student numbers, the second largest tertiary institution in the country. Interestingly, Te Wānanga o Aotearoa is also one of the top 9 Māori businesses in the country as well, based on our staffing levels, nationwide reach, but also our profitability and our income each year. We're an organisation that has annual revenues of $160 million and returns a profit of well over 4% each year. So we an organisation that is successful in a financial sense, but has the ability to do a lot more than we have done in the past, which is why you probably heard that comment during one of the earlier videos, that we've got the potential not only to be a tertiary education institution or an Indigenous tertiary education institution, but also the very best Indigenous development organisation throughout the world. And for those of you who've had the opportunities to engage with Indigenous institutions throughout different parts of the globe, you'll know that many are under-resourced, under-financed, under-capitalised, understaffed and all those sorts of things, whereas the Wānanga doesn't have those issues, and we've got the potential to do so much more than we have done in the past. Going back to the TUC strategic priorities, one of the key priorities that we align with is basically our working with priority learners. A number of Māori tauira exceeds 17,000, combined with our Pacifica students, 21,000 each and every year, and they represent, those two categories of learners represent over 60% of the tauira role of Te Wānanga Aotearoa. Interestingly, we have a very high percentage of non-Māori Pākehā tauira, which may surprise many people and often does, and also Asian students as well. So we've at all times endeavoured to maintain an inclusive approach to all learners that want to engage with our unique style of teaching, learning and succeeding. So those are the statistics associated with the types of courses and programs we deliver. Obviously, we're very strong in the foundational level teaching arena with 50 programs, levels 5 and 6, 12, and then when we go to level 7 and above, 11. So we're presently reviewing all of our programs. It's a huge number of programs to be delivering, as you can imagine. 73 programs, and we're looking at actually potentially rationalising those programs and working out which are the most demanded programs throughout the country by our particular learners. We're also trying to align ourselves with the other two Wānanga. We've got Whare Wānanga or Awanuiarangi that have a very strong presence in the level 7 and above area. Our view is not to compete with Awanuiarangi, but complement the great work that they do, and me to you, Professor Graham Smith, and for your tenure at Awanuiarangi and how we can actually align better is one of the challenges that we have, not just with Awanuiarangi, but also Arokawa, and being the other Wānanga based in Otaki. So for us, it's about making sure that we're delivering the right programs. We're looking at what our sister Wānanga organisations are doing, and we're providing pathways to those organisations where relevant, or to universities and polytechnics, because for us, we're not territorial about our students. We just want to make sure that they are achieving their aims and their objectives and getting the results that they want. And if it means that we're encouraging our tauira to head to other tertiary institutions once they've gained the maximum benefit from ours, to us, that's just part of the pathway of success. And speaking of pathway of success, I'd just like to play a short video here about one of our tauira who went from the paint factory to actually being a very creative painter, and doing that through her engagement with Te Wānanga Aotearoa. Thanks, Ruben.
I didn't quite make it through high school, so I got a job working 12-hour shifts, getting nowhere, just being a robot. I saw a poster for one of the exhibitions here at Toimarangi, and I was like, nah, I don't want to work at the Mewies anymore. I decided I would work a whole another year, pay off everything that I was doing, and then commit myself to art. My mum came to our first end of year exhibition, and she said to me that she was glad that I came, that I actually followed my dreams. I'm trying to be independent and find who I am, and I didn't realise that till afterwards. it all kind of just flows out of me without realising that this is actually me.
So for us, that's really the raison d'etre or the kaupapa tutu of Te Wānanga Aotearoa, to actually be able to support our taurua to make those sorts of beneficial changes in their lives and the lives of their whānau. So looking at the educational outcomes of our organisation, 2010 we had qualification completion rates of 66% that have gone up to 79%. Course completion rates also very high as well, 81% in 2013. This shows the qualification completion rates by sector, comparison with universities and ITPs, and obviously we do perform very well in that area compared to the other educational tertiary institutions. In terms of economic outcomes, which is crucial, 65% of graduates gained employment or additional responsibility after completing a course or courses with our organisation. 92% satisfaction rate with the educational experience at Te Wānanga Aotearoa. Most importantly, 74% told us they had plans to continue improving their future career pathway options, and 88% said that they had a beneficial impact received from their time at Te Wānanga Aotearoa. So Kerry and her team have actually done some significant research recently in terms of tauira satisfaction. We're working our way through that to update these figures, but we're not looking at them from a perspective of what are we doing well. It's really about what can we do better, where are the gaps, and how can we improve these already very positive figures that I've presented to you. In terms of social outcomes, 79% of graduates using the skills within their whānau, iwi or community, and that's crucial to us. We want our graduates not only to receive educational benefits, economic benefits, but also have the opportunity to make a positive contribution back into not only their whānau but their local community, hapu iwi. You see the other figures here as well, which are all positive. 89% of our tauira rated their own, and whānau health and wellbeing is good or excellent, and we hope that we have made a contribution in part to that high percentage. So to conclude, our organisation is an important organisation within the tertiary sector. We need to engage better. I was talking to my colleague, once again, Kerry, about how we can make sure that we step up in terms of the role we have as the second largest tertiary institution. We want to continue our support of this conference and the work that you all do, and it's about partnerships, it's about making sure we collaborate and also ensuring that that we're not overlapping in areas that perhaps many of your organisations have got well covered. But for us, everything does come back to whānau transformation through education. It's what drives the organisation, it's what provides the commitment and passion of our 1,600 people that front up each and every day so that they can make some small but important change in the lives of our fellow New Zealanders, and more importantly, Māori that we have a particular focus on serving. Nō reira te whānau, koe rā taku kōrero, ka nui tēnā, hoi anō rā, ko te mea nui mātu ki te mihi atu ki a koutou anō i tēnei wā. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa.